One question can bring you back to what matters, to what makes you feel alive, to the truth you've been circling, but not quite ready to touch. Welcome to One Question, a short weekly reflection to help you reconnect with your body, your values, and your truth. This week's question is, what am I pretending not to know? Psychologists call it motivated ignorance, the ways we avoid knowing something because knowing would force us to act. We dodge information, sidestep feelings, and tell ourselves partial truths because change is uncomfortable and our brains are wired to protect us from discomfort. There's a mental tension between what we know and what we want to believe, and we call that cognitive dissonance. It can make us cling to illusions, even when the evidence is stacked against them. Carl Jung once wrote, "People will do anything, no matter how absurd, to avoid facing their own souls." Listen, we don't just lie to other people. We like to lie to ourselves. It makes me think of Maya, a client I worked with a couple years ago. She was miserable in her marriage, and it was showing up in her work. But she wouldn't say that outright. Instead, she brought me stories about unwashed dishes and arguments over weekend plans, the loneliness she felt sitting next to someone who wouldn't look up from his phone. She never said, "I don't want to be here anymore." Because if she did, she'd have to face what came next, ending a life that she had built for over a decade. It's like the story of the frog in slowly boiling water. If the temperature rises gradually, the frog doesn't notice until it's too late. We often do the same thing, normalizing what's hurting us because acknowledging it would mean leaping into the unknown. And this isn't just about relationships. Years ago, I was on the path to becoming an accountant. It was safe and respectable, and I thought it was a smart move. But I was miserable. Not just, I don't like this, miserable. I was mediocre at it in a way that gnawed at me. I'm someone who likes to be good at what I do, and here I was in a role that drained me and dulled me. But I kept pretending that I didn't know that. I told myself I just needed more time, that everyone hates their first few years, that I was lucky to have a solid career path and a job. But the truth was, I was terrified of failing, terrified that walking away would make people think that I couldn't cut it. The thing is, the moment I finally admitted it to myself, that I wasn't cut out for accounting, I felt both fear and relief. Fear because I had no idea what was going to come next. Relief because I'd stopped the exhausting work of lying to myself. And once I left, my career opened up in ways I couldn't have planned, leading teams, building products, doing work that lit me up instead of grinding me down. Even people at the top of their game wrestle with this question. I think of Andre Agassi, who in his memoir, read it if you haven't, admitted that for much of his career, he actually really hated tennis. Imagine being one of the best in the world at something and feeling totally trapped by it. His entire identity and livelihood were built on a game he didn't love, but walking away felt impossible. Admitting the truth, even just to himself, was the first step for Andre in living differently. Here's what I've learned. The thing we're pretending not to know is almost always the thing that's keeping us stuck. I'm going to say that again. The thing we're pretending not to know is almost always the thing that's keeping us stuck. And the moment we name it, even quietly, even just on paper, something shifts. The fog lifts, and we can see the next step, even if we're not ready to take it. That's the power of this question. It's not about forcing yourself into immediate action. It's about reclaiming the energy that you've been spending on denial and putting it toward what's real. So this week, ask yourself, what am I pretending not to know? Write it down, say it out loud. See what happens when you stop hiding the truth from yourself. Thanks for listening to One Question. I'll be back next week with another short reflection to help you find your way back to what matters. Until then, be kind to yourself and always ask better questions.